The topic of transmission and transparency is a deep one inside of the glTF Scene Toolkit, so we're going to look at one more example. As before, this model came from the glTF sample models directory in the Kronos Group website on github.com. So we have two objects in the scene, cloth backdrop and dragon. The dragon itself comes with two different materials. As we see, it's set up for variance, attenuation, and surface color. We're going to start with surface color. So we'll select the surface color material and we'll give it a quick look. The alpha mode is set to opaque. Double-sided is disabled. Again, enabling or disabling has no effect when the alpha mode is opaque. There are no normal maps nor occlusion maps, no emission. We have a yellowish base color. Metallic roughness are both set to 0. Transmission is set to 1. If we drop this value down to 0.25, let's say, it looks very creamy and almost opaque. Go back to 1. There is a volume thickness on here, and we see it's 2.27. And it also has a thickness texture attached to it. Let's see what happens when we disable that texture. Quite a different result. We'll re-enable it again and choose that texture. The thickness texture is allowing the light rays to be bent in a more realistic way according to the contours of the geometry. And we have an attenuation color of white. And if we change that to red, there's no effect. And that is because the attenuation distance is set to infinity. However, if we set that to 1, we can see it is now red. We'll reset to the infinity default, and we'll reset to the white default value. Now let's take a look at the attenuation variant. And we can see that's a lot richer, a lot more going on here. Let's select that material and examine it a little more closely. Most of it is the same as we saw in the previous value. There is a roughness factor of 0.1, which I don't believe the other one had. Let's take a look again. Now the other one was set to 0, so the roughness factor is set to 0.1 in this case. And the transmission factor is a little less, so 0.999. Specular 1, and we're also using that thickness map as a specular map. So that's given us a little shininess variation across the surface. The IOR is set to 2. That's another difference, so let's see what the other one was set to. The IOR was not enabled on the previous material. So that's a good example of how you can significantly change up the different materials with the variation system. We have a volume thickness of 2.5, and again using the volume thickness map to help. And the attenuation is very small, 0.15 as you can see here. Let's change that to 1. Changing it to 1 takes the vibrancy out of the color and makes it look very dull. And that is basically the difference in the materials.